Hello. You join me on this cold Chicago day for reviews of two spirits that kind of exemplify why this channel exists. You see, right now, everyone you know, all your friends, are beginning to do their holiday shopping, and they're going to start chasing after all sorts of allocated whiskeys. On the assumption that these are super limited and super special and nothing else out there like them, etc., etc., etc. Somewhere in the collective consciousness is the awareness that these are coming from, ginormous distilleries pumping out millions of liters of alcohol per year. And then even if they say small batch or single barrel or something on them, if you lined up the small batches and the single barrels in a blind, you probably wouldn't be able to tell them apart very much. But that's not to say there aren't actually some very special things out there. And let's talk about this. This is Cyril Zangs Double Zéro Eau de Vie of Cider. Eau de Vie de Cider. So basically an unaged apple brandy. Why is this so interesting? So first of all, let me say this is a pain in the ass to get. It is available in Chicago. The distributor is BC Merchants. And the thing about BC Merchants is they are one of the few distributors who will do single bottle orders for stores. Most distributors require you to buy, at least a case or so. BC is happy to send along like one bottle along with anything else you're ordering. I still had to go through 3 different liquor stores in order to source a bottle of this. So this was an annoying process. There is not that much out here. This is let me explain what this is. So it's an eau de vie of apples, but really eau de vie of cider from one of the arguably the greatest cider maker in France right now, the cult cider maker, Cyril Zangs. It is impossible to get a hold of his stuff. Aside, even harder than this, of his ciders. But what they've done here is basically take some of his cider. I'm assuming it was specially made for distillation, but I don't really know. And Roger Groult, whose stuff I've reviewed elsewhere, has thrown it into a tiny, 300-gallon direct-fired still he's got basically in his basement, I guess. And they're distilling this stuff. And here it is. It's about $80. Fermentation for this, the entire process of fermentation of resting of the wash, I guess, the cidery wash, takes about a year. So there's going to be some funky funk on this. And it is bottled at 50% alcohol, which is very nice. This particular one is lot 0. I'm not sure if there's a tiny little lot number there over the ml. Also, this also comes in a green label. It is exactly the same stuff. I think the story I was told by the importer was Cyril went to his kids to decide whether to go with the white label or the green label, and they couldn't decide, so they just made both. But it's the same stuff. The problem was finding a worthy sparring partner for this. You're gonna find a couple of other apple eau de vies out there, but where are you gonna find one with enough firepower to match? So the quality of this is hard enough to match, but the 50%, that's even harder. That's extremely rare in the world of eau de vies. And so I thought for a while about what I was going to do for a sparring partner, and then I realized, oh right, there's this Laird's Jersey Lightning unaged apple brandy from Laird's in I guess their main distillery now is in North Garden, Virginia. But they still kind of call Scobeyville in New Jersey home, even though it's mostly like golf courses and stuff now. This is bottled at 50% alcohol as well. Is it going to have the long fermentation and the direct fire stills that the Cyril Zangs here is? No, of course not. But it's $25 versus 80, and same strength and it's from a company I adore, Laird's, of course, the oldest licensed distiller in the United States. Got their license in 1781. So this felt like it would be a fun pairing. So I don't expect the Lairds to win this, but I want to see what happens. All right, so let's stick our noses into this. Laird's Jersey Lightning Apple Brandy. Have no idea when this is bottled. I guess there is a tiny little lot number or something, but I can't really even make it out or decipher it at all. I'm guessing this was probably bottled circa 2019 or so. Anyways, we're 5 minutes in already, and I've even given you some notes. On the nose, Laird's. Ooh. So my first impression is really like rum agricole. It's like apple meets, yeah, rum, like agricole rum blanc. That's what this smells like. But it's not like clean, nice dessert apples. This is like crab apple. There's some plum in there, like some dried. I always get some like floral stuff in Laird's, and it's definitely here in the spirit. Like just dried flowers, lots of that. A little bit of pickle. That's really an agricole note. Something minerally too. It isn't quite like brininess or like salt water or anything like that. It's more like almost a sandstone kind of note. Yeah, there's some quince in this. Quite a lot of plum actually. There's as much plum as there is apple. And again, the apple is really like sour apple, bitter apple, rather than sort of your nice Galas or Fujis or whatever you're buying in the grocery store. I mean, it's nice. It's kind of floral and aromatic. And it's definitely benefiting from the strength. I'm guessing at 40% this would be nowhere, but at 50, it's actually showing pretty well. Interesting. Okay, let's see what happens here on the palate. This is actually pretty good. Okay, you can tell the fermentation was not super long on this. It has the finish kind of it hangs on, but it's actually quite shallow in the mouth. It just doesn't fill the mouth as much as you would expect. Like if you've had agricole rums before, this comes across more like something like Habitation Saint Etienne, Duquesne, it's better than Clement, but those kind of things, the cleaner styles, the more with faster fermentation than something like Biel or Naison. It's very fruity. It's very floral, up front. It's fruity and floral. And then the finish, it kind of closes on this kind of nice, bitter, floral, apple core, lemon pith sort of finish. It is shallow in the mouth, but it's not bad. I mean, this is I've paid more for rum agricoles that were doing worse than this, or like cachaças, that kind of thing. Again, in terms of like flavors, I mean, there's apple, but again, it's more like crab apple. This is solid. Apples, yeah, plum, like some just like roadside gravel. Very floral, lots of dried flowers again, like herbal teas going on. Quince again, not really pear. This is quince. Touch of lemony stuff, that kind of lemon peel, lemon pith thing. I mean, for $25, this is a winner. This is kind of great. I mean, it's not great, but it's good enough for that price point. I am real darn pumped right now about the quality of this. Well done, Lairds. All right, moving on though to what was supposed to be the star of the show, Cyril Zangs, Double Zéro, Eau de Vie cider, lot 20, 50% alcohol. Here we go. Distilled at Roger Groult in a tiny direct fire still. Whoa, totally different on the nose. Yeah, that has some density to it. And some layers. There's just like layers of bruised apple. Again, different kinds of apple. Spiked with like funky Basque cider, you know, like old school Basque cider. Like just pour a little bit of that in here. But then, like, I mean, there's more than there's sea salt in this. It's very like briny, salty, and there's some rockiness in there beyond that. But it's more like seaside beach rocks than it is the gravelly thing I was getting in the Laird's. Definitely peppery. There's some white pepper in this. Pu'er tea, like really nice pu'er. More brininess. It's not really floral though. I always look for floral notes on apple brandies, and here I'm not really getting. What I am getting is like lots of. I don't know how to describe it. There's like a fruity smoke thing, like almost as if you'd like lit some fruit on fire somehow. Like I don't even know if that's possible. Or maybe I'm thinking like fruity hardwood smokes, like cherry wood smoke, applewood smoke would do it. Something like that. There is some again different kinds of apple, but there's something else. There's almost like a I want to say cherry, but it's not cherry. It's more like a Flemish red ale kind of note, like a sour beer sort of note. And then there's this. It's not floral. It's more like a grassy herbal thing, like wild herbs is the thought that comes to mind. So not an herb garden, just like wild herbs growing around some just like regular grass. And that's kind of what I'm smelling. This is really dense. And quite impressive. Let's see what happens on the palate. So based off the nose, I was expecting a lot of like austerity to this. I was expecting hard going, really. And it's not to say there isn't some hardcore elements to this, but this is actually shockingly, like, delicious. There's a little bit more, it's not sugary by any means, but there's a little bit more sweetness going on and like a sour thirst quenching thing, which I'm really, really enjoying. Let me try this again. Yeah, it's appley, crab appley, cidery, but it's also like really salt watery. There's like a black pepper finish. Let's talk about the finish. The finish is really like salt water and black pepper more than anything else. And it just dominates the mouth, the whole mouth, and it lasts and lasts and lasts and holds and lasts. I'm getting apple. Again, all the apples, crab apple, those little black apple things, a couple of, like one dessert apple, the sour apples. This is real good. Quince again, Mirabelle plum, a touch of cherry, or maybe that's the Flemish ale thing again. Yeah, let's say that. Not cherry, scratch out the cherry, Flemish ale. That kind of wild herbs kind of thing again. Certainly some cidery notes. Again, maybe I just haven't had the right French ciders yet, but my mind immediately goes to Basque Country, like that kind of cider. There's puer. I'm a little bit scared to use this note, but potting peat. So not like peat smoke. We're not talking Islay, Scotland, anything like that. We're talking like you've gone to a garden store. You're going to pot some plants, and you buy peat for putting your plants in. That kind of peat that is in here, not smoke, and like a splash of cider vinegar in there too. Why not? Even like a little bit of like a Korean cooking kind of thing, like a bibimbap kind of thing. This is really good. I mean, the quality is extremely high. It is, you can tell just from the nose, like how well this was made. Seriously impressive. Okay, we're gonna did I give the Laird some water? Hold on. I'm losing track of my review here. I think I gave that some water. It doesn't taste hot to me, at least. Okay. I'm making a mess of this review. I apologize. I apologize to all the viewers out there. Okay, back to the Lairds, which I think I had. I don't trust myself. Hold on. Okay. I should probably give this a minute, but whatever. I'm just going to read my notes and follow my notes from when I was properly tasting these things. Actually, that's accurate. So when you add water to this, it doesn't develop very much. At least not in the nose. So it gets maybe a bit sharper, but in like a nice way. It gets kind of more top heavy, more aromatic. Otherwise, mostly the same. On the palate, this steps up a little bit more. It really rounds out the mouthfeel a lot. It really improves the finish. It gives this really like quite a bit longer and deeper kind of rocks and apple and flowers sort of finish. This is nice. And at $25, $25, the QPR on this is really, really, really good. Commit this very cheap looking label to memory, because you know what this reminds me of in some ways? It reminds me a little bit of like Rittenhouse Rye circa 15 years ago. Rittenhouse, it's not the best thing, or even like, do you remember back when Finlagen, the sort of undisclosed Isla whiskey we secretly all knew was Kalila? You remember Kalila like 15 years ago, when it was still like 20 bucks, 25 bucks, something like that? Rittenhouse, kind of the same territory. They weren't that great, but they were reasonably cheap for what they were, and they were good enough. You could get a glimpse into what was possible in the style. This is kind of giving me that same vibe. It's not spectacular. I would give it an 83 plus. And give it the plus because it really gets a little bit better with water. But here you were getting, honest to God, apple Eau de Vie bottled at 50%. 50% alcohol, which is, not common aside from stuff like this. For $25. That's really, really impressive. I don't even know what I would cocktail this with, but someone out there has figured that out, or will figure that out in short order once they get a bottle. this is pretty dangerous. I would keep your eye on this. And I don't know, man. If you like apples, buy it. If you like crumb agricole, buy it. Like, this is just something you can have around the house. This is really good. 83 points. 83 points. Well done, Lairds. All right, moving on, though, to the Cyril Zangs. I did add water to this, right? On the nose, the water brings out really this kind of more cidery elements, like cider vinegar as well. Otherwise, not a whole lot different, but it's really what was impressing me on this before. As good as the nose was the palate. So let us see what happens on the palate. With water, the Double Zero, the Zangs, actually loses steam a little bit. I wouldn't say it gets worse. It doesn't really gain anything, and it just feels less. I don't know, less domineering in a bad way in my mouth. It's still good because it's just well made, but. Yeah, I would drink this neat. This is one I wouldn't add water to. Just drink it neat. It's still really good. I'm not going to ding it at all for, just kind of losing a little bit with water. But I would drink this neat. Yeah, score-wise, I would give this an 88 points. This is really dang good. And it's very, very special as well. And you know what? Like, this is awesome. This is a truly unique, small scale, nerdy product. Like, there can't be more than a couple of hundreds of liters coming out of each batch every year, right? This is more special than any ridiculous bourbon you can think of, and speaking of someone who has had the Pappies and the Stags and all those, this is better. This is better than those. Meanwhile, I think to some extent the Lairds may be the star of the episode because this is also for $25. Like, this is an introduction to a completely different category of spirit that is not going to hurt your wallet in any old way. I love both of these for very different reasons. But I really love both of these. 83 points, 83 plus. I'm sorry, for the Lairds, and 88 for the Zangs. Thanks for watching and cheers.